Welcome, everybody, to the Tea with Ms McGill Show. It is Puka. It is the star of the show, Reed Larson, episode 46 from a snowy Iron Range of the Minnesota. What do you?
Yeah, it's a snowy one out there. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, isn't it?
Oh gosh, it's yeah. So big mess up here. If you're from the outside the area, I know I had about 5.5 inches at 8 a.m. It was still snowing, so a solid 6 inches, I'd say, and wet and sticky.
Yeah, it was the heavy stuff too.
Yeah.
It's not the stuff that's easy to push along the ground. I mean, you gotta be a strong person to pick some of this up and throw it over as wet. If you're going out to make a snowman, today's the perfect day.
This is it. Yeah,
get out and do it. I think I went out. I didn't even mess with cleaning any snow out at all until about 10 o'clock. Like I waited till the snow plow went by, because the snow plow, it just knocks your day down.
Yeah.
You go out and shovel and then it goes by again and you got to do it again. So I just wait and then I pull out the old snow blower and then we're ready.
And then you're good. Yeah, you're good to go. Awesome. Perfect. Well, if you can, wherever you're consuming us, whether it's YouTube, podcast, Facebook, hammer the like button, throw in a comment if you get a chance. We'd appreciate that. A review on if you're a podcaster, that'd be great too. We'd appreciate that. All right. So busy week of hockey. We're turning the corner here towards the holidays. Big weekend here in Grand Rapids last weekend, where Roseau and Warroad came to town for a couple of overtime games.
Yeah, both overtime games and both really good games. It was kind of a weekend where Rapids kind of showed, what they can do, the next level they can play. It's been maybe I would say a slower start to the beginning of the season, and it doesn't look that way when you look at the record going into the weekend. There were 4 or 5-0, whatever it was, 5-0.
Yeah.
And going into the weekend, there was a lot to prove because, the naysayers would say they haven't played anybody yet. But they went into the weekend 4-0. And then, you take a look, or was it 5-0? Sometimes I get all those mixed up, but they're going to the weekend and now they're playing some real competition, and Roseau's in town, and that was a step in the right direction. Of course, there was still some sickness going on with the Thunderhawks. There was guys out of the lineup with, flus and colds and whatever it was, and trying to play through it. And it was a tough weekend, but, obviously I would say probably the best showing to get the team going was netminder Miles Gunderson between the pipes. He was solid both nights. Really good on Saturday night against Warroad with some top competition, but Friday night's game against Roseau was a good battle. It ended up going into overtime, and just a shot that had eyes in overtime. About a few minutes in from Luka Roloff scores his first goal of his high school career, and it was a good one.
Yeah,
right over the left shoulder of the goaltender there, and Rapids was able to pull that one off and go in to the second game of the weekend. And we talked about this last week, and what was it going to take for us to be able to get the sweep on the weekend. And I didn't want to answer that question because I didn't want to start thinking sweep. I wanted to win the first one first. So we did that. Yep. We got the win the
one
first
step
night.
at a time. Yep.
And then for a 2:00 matinee game with Warroad, you had some pretty good players down, and again, still battling some sickness. One of the guys came back, but another one stayed home that night, and we had some guys that weren't feeling very well. But again, there's probably guys in the same situation for Warroad.
Yeah,
they had their top goaltender between the pipes and Hampton Slakinski.
Yep.
And of course, we had ours in there with Miles Gunderson, and Miles was again Saturday night or Saturday afternoon stellar between the pipes. Had 45 of 48 saves. Yeah. A big night, and that just shows when you got a good goaltender what you can do. The number 2 ranked Warroad team was in town, a number 2 ranked single A team, I should say, and that one jumped out for the Thunderhawks, jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Yep. And that lasted for a couple of periods, and then they popped one in, and they kept wearing us down, and then you could kind of see Grand Rapids run out of gas, getting a little tired. And they popped another one in, and of course they've got their top line. It's interesting because their top line didn't score their first 2 goals. Finally, their top line in overtime popped one in.
And late in overtime.
It was late into overtime. Yeah, it was Cordes Marvin or Marvin Cordes, however his last name goes. He's got two last names, he's hyphenated. He ended up popping that in, but it was pretty, it's a feather in the cap. And nobody likes moral victories. I don't care what anyone says. If you're a hockey person, you don't like moral victories, but you can take away out of that weekend, if you're a Grand Rapids fan, of some really well played hockey, and playing with the best. When you got somebody like Jason Shagaby that gets shut out for the night and doesn't find his way to the goal column, he may have had an assist on that goal that Marvin Cordes scored. He probably had an assist on that, but he did not score any goals that night. And that's a pretty big deal. And if you can score 2 goals on one of the top goalies in the state,
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
I heard he's a top 5. I heard he's a top 5 goalie in the country for his age.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Derek Peterson told me.
And he was phenomenal all night long. But it was kind of interesting because we were watching him going, boy, is something going on. He was a little shaky. Some of the rebounds were a little shaky. So we're thinking he might be ripe tonight. And he was early. We were able to pop 2 in on him. But again, we did end up getting the loss to Warroad, but that put the Thunderhawks at a 6-1 record on the season so far. And really kind of gave them a little bit of life going into the Edina Classic, which we'll touch on here in a little bit.
Yeah. And even I was at the Roseau game too. Boy, they came to play, sometimes that long bus everywhere Roseau goes in Warroad, those long bus rides, but did they end up out shooting Rapids by a shot or two? I mean, it was pretty
probably,
but I was, they were ready to go off the bat,
Well, we said this, I think, in the locker room, and I don't know if it was that game or the next game, that there's going to be a lot of games where we get outshot. And that's where we lean on the veteran senior goaltender, Miles Gunnarsson, to do his job. And he does it night in and night out. So we're going to get outshot. We need to be opportunistic on the opportunities that we do get. And that it bode in our favor both nights. It's just, we came out on the losing end in overtime.
Yeah. And speaking of Gundersson's, Caleb, right? First career goal.
Yeah.
Also on Friday night. So congratulations to Caleb. That's great. All right. Anything else on those 2 games?
Nope.
All right. Let's real quick word for the Rink Sports Bar and Grill, our pals over there in Eveleth. Again, they've got the gift card special going on. As I'm pulling it up, remember Friday fish fry, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's the place you go when you're in the Quad Cities. So the gift card special right now, it's the holiday season. So great gift from a great place. $50, receive $10 free. Buy $100 gift card, receive $25 free. $200 in gift cards get you $50 in free food, free beverages from the Rink Sports Bar and Grill. So run over there, say hi to Michelle. She'll take really good care
of
of
a no-brainer.
Exactly. I was there. I got mine last week. I was in Eveleth, so I ran in and got the deal. So I'll be spending some time at the Rink Sports Bar and Grill, as we move through the winter here. All right. So last night I was able to run over to Greenway to the pit. I was there once last year. So over to the Snake Pit for my annual visit. Hibbing came to town. Pretty good game. I mean, the score was 7-0 Hibbing. Got a little lopsided at the end. Hibbing got 4 goals in the third period. But it was a pretty tight game for period and 3 quarters. The penalty bug kind of hit Greenway a little bit. They ended up with 4 penalties. Hibbing capitalized on 2 of the 4 with goals. Bo Frieder with 2 goals last night. The Fawcett with 2 goals. Like I said, they exploded for 4 in the third period there. Kind of thought Hibbing had the edge a little bit deeper. The goaltending advantage I would have probably given to Hibbing. But pretty good matchup for the most part. Like I said, it got a little ugly at the end with them, popping those 4 goals. I do want to mention senior captain Bo Frieder, a total bruh. The kids say bruh, no, bruh, a total. So I'm giving Bo Frieder our first ever bruh award for the 2 with Ms McGill Show. Logan Geetson speaking. First career goal. He plays defense. Everyone's running out to the point. Not Bo Frieder. He goes to the net, grabs that puck. And so, of course, Logan Geetson will probably something out the rest of his life. So for those of you that are captains, there's your veteran leaders in the room. That's a great gesture as somebody, that's been around.
Team guy.
Yeah, team guy. Obviously want to go congratulate him. It takes a special person. Wait, I'm going to go get this. So, total move by you, Bo Frieder. Congratulations. I think that was great. All right. So hammer the like button. We'd appreciate that. Iron Ranger apparel, ODR swag, get the cap, the winter hat, the cap, t-shirt, Thunderbird Mall, just exclusively found at Iron Ranger Apparel is this line. So they got jerseys, hats, sweatshirts, cool stuff for Christmas. Like I said, get over there for the shopping list, get everybody taken care of. It's more than just hockey stuff, though. They have all kinds of knickknacks. I call it the gift buyer's paradise. It's the perfect place to shop. Like I said, you can find somebody for your female daughter that's 3, for your son that's 13, for your wife that's 35, whatever age. But anyway, there's all kinds of knickknacks. There's a lot of Minnesota themed stuff, a lot of hockey stuff. But Iron Ridge Apparel, Thunderbird Mall, that's where you go to get it done. That's your one-stop shop. Come on, guys. Everyone hates shopping. You hate shopping? I hate shopping.
That's why my wife doesn't think. I've got a fantastic wife because she shops for everything.
She does it all. Yeah. So if you've got stuck with the shopping, you've got to get over to Iron Ridge Apparel. That's the place, like I said, one-stop shop, get it all done at one time.
So if anybody ever has any arguments or criticisms about how I dress, my wife dresses me. She basically buys me.
Wow. So if you ever want in your own school, go to Iron Ridge Apparel, you get some good swag. All right. So you were on the mic last week and on television on My 9. Who'd you cover? Cloquet Denfeld. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, Cloquet Denfeld over at the Northwoods Credit Union Arena in Cloquet, and that was a fun one to call. It's fun to see Cloquet playing good hockey. Shea Walters, Hibbing native, of course, has put his time in and has worked hard with that program there to try to get them to do something special. And it's been a grind. He's had players leave. He's had, struggles in that community. And it's just nice to see them play his style of hockey. He's got a couple of really nice players that are really gritty, just tough, speedy kids. Antonucci is one of them. Just really tough. Work hard, get to the net, and nothing really cute and pretty, just really, really gritty hockey players. And you saw it, they finished checks. They took penalties, don't get me wrong, but we kept reiterating all night long on our My 9 broadcast that they can afford to play this way because they were 100% up to that point in the season on their PK, and they finished that game still 100%. Now, I don't know where they are as of today. I'd have to do a little bit more research, but finishing that on Thursday night, 100% up to within the first 3-4 games of the season, not having a power play scored on you.
Yeah,
that is a big deal to be able to go into. You can play with confidence that I'm going to play tough. I'm going to play gritty. I'm going to play with a little bit of, a little chip edge on my shoulder, a little edge, because I know that I got the goalie and the PK to take care of me. So you're going to do that. And I really like the way they play. However, Denfeld, I don't want to take anything away from how Cloquet played that night. They played tough. They played gritty and they finished the game. But Denfeld did not have a good night.
Okay.
And I just saw here last night that Andy Larson just scored his 100th goal in the game they played last night. But those top line players and Caden Postal and Andy Larson, they struggled getting things to the net that night. And the team was off. You could just see watching across the rink, looking at Coach Dale Jago, that he was struggling to keep the emotions at bay, because he is a guy that wears his heart on his sleeve when he's coaching. He's not afraid to say stuff. And he's a guy, if you ever walk by their locker room, you'll hear everything he says in there. He's intense and he's tough on the kids, which is good for him. And it was tough to watch him because his body language just kept going from intensity to, sagging, and he was struggling because you could tell that the Denfeld Hunters were not having a night that night. They struggled getting anything going. They struggled having a pulse. They struggled having any kind of sense of urgency, and Cloquet capitalized on their lethargic play that night. And I said, I don't want to take anything away from Cloquet. They're tough and they're playing hard, and I like the way they play. Shea's got them playing the right way.
Oh, good. Yeah, like I said, because it was a couple of years ago, I think Cloquet was really struggling, but it'd be nice to see him kind of back on the map. So congratulations to the Cloquet Lumberjacks. All right, Aspire Heating and Cooling, your official local Bryant dealer, and Bryant is the official heating and cooling company of your Minnesota Wild. They specialize in gas, electric, and hydronic heating and cooling systems for existing and new construction. Residential and commercial installations are available. Some of their services include forced air systems, boilers, heat pumps, mini splits. They are licensed and bonded, so give Justin a call right now. Like I said, we got the snow early next week. It's going to really drop the temperatures. We're going to get really cold. Having any furnace issues, you need some maintenance done, 999-5957. Give Justin a call. Like I said, official Bryant dealer in your area here, 999-5957, Aspire Heating and Control. All right, preview time. Big weekend coming up, especially for you guys.
Yeah.
Time to head south.
Yeah. We're still looking at, I'll tell you, the weather puts a big challenge into things right now, but I think we've got some pretty good plans in place here. So, but yeah, tomorrow night's game matchup will be the Thunderhawks versus the Edina Hornets, which is always one we look forward to. We look forward to taking on the Cake Eaters of the South, and it's their tournament. It's there at Braemar Arena. The teams that are showcased are Grand Rapids, Elk River, Edina, and Eden Prairie, and we all end up playing each other once. And of course, the JVs play as well over in the South Rink. But it's fun because we get to match ourselves with some of the high-end Metro talent. Of course, going into the weekend, Edina has only played 4 games, and they're 1-3 at the moment, which is not likely with Edina,
Right.
but
Pretty rare.
If you're a fan of the Thunderhawks, that should tell you that the Thunderhawks better be ready to play come tomorrow night, because being 1-3 is not what Edina likes, nor their fans or their supporters or their boosters. They're going to come out hot and ready to go, and the Thunderhawks got to be ready to go too. So that'll be the spotlight game. That game is actually on Valley Sports North, so tune in if you have a subscription to Valley Sports. Tune into that. Anthony LaPanta and the crew will have that on the call right there, Braemar, with puck drop at 8:30 tomorrow night.
Perfect.
The rest of the weekend, Friday night will be a matchup at 6 p.m., I believe, with Eden Prairie, Grand Rapids and Eden Prairie. And then Saturday evening, I think, will be the 6 o'clock game with Elk River.
Okay.
So the times, I'm not 100% sure on the second two. I believe they're both 6 p.m. starts for the varsity games. JV games Friday and Saturday will be 4 p.m.
You know, as you're talking about the Edina Classic, I'm thinking, wasn't there a high school tournament that was played at Met Center back in the day?
That's a question I can't answer. It sounds like it'd be a fun one.
I thought maybe it was the Classic when you brought up the arena, but I thought if anyone knows, please comment. If they did play high school hockey at the Met Center, I thought there was a holiday tournament someone might have put on back then. But if you know anything about that, please drop that in the comments. I'd like to find out if that's factual or not. All right. So I also noticed Rock Ridge going on the road. Tough weekend for them. Heading south to the St. Cloud area. They got Little Falls and then St. Cloud Cathedral. Like I said, pretty tough schedule, way to get better, but tough weekend coming up for them.
Yeah. They're grinding out right now. They're trying to find a few things. When you get through the scores, you can kind of see some that they've played some teams close. They've dropped down against a couple of teams. Rockridge has got to kind of find their way right now. They're well coached. They've got everything they need in a new rink and, all new equipment, brand new locker room, 2 teams, coming together. The chemistry's got to come together here at some point in time. And like I said, when you got a well-coached organization like that, stay tuned. Things will turn the corner for those guys right now. It's early in the season. Like I said, they dumped one last night, I believe it was, to Denfeld 5-2, but it was, that was the Andy Larson show. Like I said, he ended up scoring his 100th goal that night. And that was shortly, a few days after they just got pumped by Cloquet. So they were pretty ticked off.
Yeah.
They were ready to go after somebody. And, but Rockridge is looking for their way right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, good luck to all of you Wolverine players and fans on your trip down south. All right. Some scores and more from the past week. We start out with some sad news. Steve Jensen, the legend, former, I think he went to Armstrong in the cities, played on the 76 Olympic team, played for the North Stars. I don't know where he played I don't know where his college career was, or if he went maybe he went right to the Olympics. Maybe because that was the way it was back then. It was just, remember, you were an amateur, but anyway, nonetheless, passed away here on November 29th. If you recognize the name, he ran the Heartland hockey camps down in Deerwood, Minnesota, a guy that I knew personally. was pretty shocking news. I believe he was 67 years old. So yeah, so, you know, kind of a legend in Minnesota.
Yeah, the hockey world is small,
Yeah.
right? You hear about all these things, and you know, every year there's something that comes up. It just makes you just want to hug your family and enjoy every winter that you possibly can.
Yeah, I spent a summer there. I think his wife's name is Shannon. Had a daughter there, but great guy. So, you know, talk about a tense yeller, great motivator. He had the speeches. He loved to talk. But I hadn't been to the facility in a while. My nephew was there a couple summers ago. It sounds like the grounds of the facilities have a huge upgrade from 25 years ago when I was there. But like I said, a Minnesota legend. So condolences to everyone that knows Stephen, especially his family, as we head into the holidays here. All right, some scores from the past week. Bemidji lost to Sartell, St. Stephen 5-3. Like you said, Rock Ridge was dropped by Denfeld 5-2. I Falls beat up on Ely 12-3. Cloquet Case passed Proctor last night 2-0. Brainerd over Northern Lakes 4-1. Hermantown over Marshall 8-1. And we normally do our Walleye Scotty Dyna update, but of course they have not played since they dropped, since they beat Benilde the other week, and now, like I said, up against the Thunderhawks tomorrow night.
Well, and there's a couple others to add to the mix too for those that are kind of ranking watchers. They watch the AA rankings here and there. Andover has been kind of at the top of the rankings within the top 5. Andover they ended up dumping one here the other night to Rogers, who is sliding themselves into one of the top 2 spots. It's an up and coming AA program right now that has been grinding it out. And they've got a couple of players on that team that are going to end up playing college hockey that could have done what a lot of kids have done in Rogers past, which is up and take off and go to the nearest private school, or up and take off and go to their option for a USHL team. And these kids banded together to stay, and look what's happening in Rogers. They're finding themselves in a pretty nice spot, ranked number 1, number 2 in the state now.
Wow.
Wayzata is right in the top 2 as well. They stay unbeaten, I believe, at 5-0. And then we just saw the last week's number 1 ranked Minnetonka dumped one 4-1 to Chanhassen, who came up here for a preseason scrimmage in Grand Rapids. And, you know, obviously we were trying to get our feet under us the first week, and they ended up putting a few in on us that day. They walked out of there with the win. I don't even remember what the score was, but they beat us by a couple. Chanhassen is a good hockey team, and they're turning some heads right now. And there was a lot of people thinking, well, Minnetonka could go undefeated this year. They're that good. Well, you just see that that's why you play the games.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like everything's getting tight, but it's kind of cool to see some new names like Rogers and Chanhassen.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And he died on 1-3.
Again, and another team, Chanhassen, another team who has lost players to Holy Family and all these other Western cities type private schools. So it's just nice to see these programs keeping kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've got a buddy living in Chanhassen. His kids at Holy Family right now. So awesome. All right. Well, anything else on episode 46? That's a wrap.
Episode 46 already, huh?
46.
Holy buckets.
Closing in on 50.
We're rolling right along. No, I think just try to stay warm. Make sure that you, when you do go outside to shovel here in the next day or two, because you're going to get more tonight, you're going to get more tomorrow. There might be a little bit on Friday. Take your time shoveling the driveway. Don't do anything crazy. I'm starting to get to that age here. You can see the white in my beard where I don't want to work too hard shoveling, because I don't need to keel over and have a heart attack lifting this ridiculously heavy snow. So take care of that, drive safe, be smart, and enjoy winter while it's here with a smile, because hockey season only lasts so long.
That's right. Yeah. Well, my age. So what I've done for my snow is I've got 4 snowblowers. I've got Thomas, I've got Ginger, I've got Vivian, and I've got Patrick. It's the greatest thing ever. So I don't do any shoveling anymore, and I won't buy a snowblower. So they were out there hammering it.
Good for you.
Take a couple of trips, do it, a couple different times. And then, I didn't know if it was going to stop snowing, which it ended up. And I'm like, keep your eye out. You start seeing snow accumulating. Don't wait for it to get this deep. Shovel it when it's this deep. It's a lot easier.
Yeah. I like that, Dad. Good job.
No snowblower for me. All right. Please comment. Any comments we'd appreciate. That'd be great if you want to contact us. more privately, Goatsportsmediallc@gmail.com. As always, like I said, we'd appreciate a subscription or hammer the like button. Find us, Tea with Ms McGill, by that title on Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. If you're looking for us on YouTube, Facebook, or Rumble, it's Goat Sports Media LLC. Like I said, just share the dang thing, then everyone will see it. Christmas gifts right behind us. Again, you're looking for something, $20 for a t-shirt, $22 for double X and up. Just like I said, send an email, send an instant message, DM, whatever. We'll get a hold of you, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, whatever. We can square that up and then figure out shipping, or if you're local, we can even meet up with you and get you your shirt. Great partners. Want to thank them as always. Rink Sports Bar and Grill, Iron Range Apparel and ODR Swag, Aspire Heating and Control, Iron Range Goalie Academy. For Reed Larson, good luck this weekend. I am Puka. Kids, get out there and be your dream. You're tuned to the One to Go show. Oh, the Tea with Ms McGill show. Excuse me.